The alarm blared through Luna Base as Commander Hana Park rushed to the command center. Red warning lights flashed across the monitoring screens. Something was coming. "Report," Hana ordered as she took her position at the command station. Lieutenant Dae Kim stood at attention. "Unknown signal detected at the edge of our solar system, Commander. It doesn't match anything in our database." The main screen flickered to life, showing a strange ship emerging from what appeared to be a tear in space itself. The vessel looked damaged, with parts of its hull glowing red from heat. "Are they broadcasting?" Hana asked, studying the unknown craft. "Yes, Commander. They're transmitting on multiple frequencies." Hana nodded. "Put it through." The screen changed to show a face that was clearly not human. The alien had blue-tinted skin with small ridges along its forehead. Its eyes were large and entirely black. "This is Admiral Mun of the Astrian Alliance," the alien spoke in perfect English. "We come seeking assistance. Our civilization faces destruction at the hands of the Void Dominion." The command center fell silent. First contact, and it came with a plea for help. Hana kept her voice steady. "This is Commander Hana Park of Earth's United Defense Force. How are you speaking our language?" "We have studied your broadcast for many years," Admiral Moon explained. "Your species shows great promise. You fight with creativity. We need that now." Before Hana could respond, the transmission cut off abruptly. Lieutenant Dai checked his instruments. "Commander, 3 more ships just appeared. They're moving fast toward the first one." The tactical screen showed 3 larger vessels in pursuit of the damaged craft. They were sleek, black, and moved with frightening speed. "Officer." June at the weapon station turned to Hana. "The new ships are charging weapons. They're targeting the first vessel." Hana didn't hesitate. "Alert all Earth defense platforms, ready the fleet." "You're going to help them?" Lieutenant Day asked. "We don't know anything about either side." No one is asking for help and the others are shooting," Hana replied. "That's enough for now. Move our ships into defensive formation." Earth's small fleet of space vessels wasn't built for alien warfare. They were exploration ships fitted with basic weapons for asteroid defense. But they were all humanity had. The enemy ships, presumably the Void Dominion, fired upon the damaged Astrian vessel as it limped toward Earth. The shots were precise, targeting engines and weapon systems. "All ships, engage," Hana ordered. "Protect the damaged vessel." Earth's fleet moved in patterns that would seem random to outside observers. Captain Su led her ship in a tight spiral around the Astrian vessel, while Captain Min's ships used Earth's gravity to slingshot into attack positions. The Void Dominion ships hesitated, clearly surprised by the human intervention. That moment of confusion was all Earth's fleet needed. "Fire," Hana commanded. Earth's weapons weren't as advanced, but they hit their targets. The Dominion ships took damage for the first time. One of the enemy ships broke off to engage the human fleet directly. Its weapons tore through Captain Min's ship, destroying it instantly. "Min's ship is gone," Lieutenant Day reported. His voice tight. Hana gripped her console. "Continue the attack, don't give them time to think." The remaining human ships adjusted their tactics on the fly, each captain making independent decisions based on the changing battle. There was no central strategy, just humans doing what they do best: adapting. This unpredictability confused the Void Dominion ships. Their attacks missed more often as they failed to predict where the human vessels would move next. Captain Su's voice came through the comm system. "I think I found a weak spot. Their shield generators are exposed when they fire their main weapons. All ships target those points when they open fire," Hana ordered. The next time the Dominion ships charged their weapons, the human fleet struck simultaneously at the exposed generators. The shields on one enemy ship collapsed completely. Without shields, the Dominion vessel was vulnerable. Earth's weapons tore into its hull, causing a chain reaction of explosions. The remaining Dominion ships, seeing one of their own destroyed by supposedly primitive technology, suddenly retreated, jumping back through tiers in space, similar to how they had arrived. As the battle ended, Hana ordered rescue teams to the damaged Astrian ship. She met the alien captain, Tay, as he was helped from his vessel. "You fought for us," Tay said, clearly surprised. "You don't even know us." "That's what humans do," Hana replied simply. "We help when we can." Tay looked at the human ships, many, now damaged from the battle. "Your vessels are primitive compared to the Dominions, yet you prevailed." "How?" Lieutenant Day smiled slightly. "They expected us to fight like you do, with patterns and formations. Humans don't work that way." "I see now why Admiral Munn was so interested in your species," Tay said. "You may be exactly what we need to win this war." Hana's expression grew serious. "You should know that Earth has never faced an interstellar threat before. We have much to learn about this conflict." "And we have much to teach you," Tay responded. "The Void Dominion will return, and in greater numbers. This was only the beginning." Here's part 2. The Reluctant Alliance in about 800 words, written in third-person style using simple and basic English. 3 days after the battle, Earth's leaders gathered in the United Nations Emergency Chamber. The large round room buzzed with worried voices. Captain Tay and 2 other Astrian survivors stood at the center, their blue skin catching the light. General G slammed his hand on the table. "This is not our fight. We barely have ships that can reach Mars. How can we join an interstellar war?" "Commander," Hana stood up. "With respect, General, the Void Dominion now knows about Earth. They will return whether we fight or not." Admiral Sun nodded in agreement. "Better to face them with allies than alone." Tay stepped forward. "May I show you something?" He placed a small device on the table. It projected a hologram showing planets being systematically destroyed. "These were once thriving worlds," Tay explained. "The Void Dominion follows the same pattern everywhere. They arrive, take all resources, and either kill or enslave the population." The room fell silent as they watched entire civilizations vanish. "How many worlds have they taken?" President Yoon asked quietly. "Hundreds," Tay replied. "They've been expanding for centuries. Your world will be next unless we stop them." Colonel Yoon, Earth's top military strategist, studied the battle recordings. "Their ships move in perfect coordination like they share one mind." "They do," said Tay. "The Void Dominion operates as a hive consciousness. They can't understand individual thought or unpredictable action. That's why your defense surprised them." Admiral Sun turned to face the assembly. "I propose we accept the Astrian offer to enhance our fleet with their technology. We can't match the Dominion's numbers, but we might confuse their tactics." The debate lasted for hours. Some leaders wanted to hide, hoping Earth would be overlooked. Others wanted to build massive defenses and wait for the attack. But slowly, the idea of joining the Astrians gained support. President Yoon finally called for a vote. "Those in favor of forming an alliance with the Astrian people and joining their fight, raise your hands." The vote wasn't unanimous, but it was enough. Earth would go to war. Over the next weeks, Astrian engineers worked alongside human technicians. They added their advanced shields and weapons to Earth's ships while studying the unusual human battle tactics. Commander Hana watched as her ship transformed. The Astrian engineer Jin looked confused as he examined human battle plans. "You purposely build randomness into your strategies?" Jin asked. Hana nodded. "We call it controlled chaos. Every captain makes independent decisions based on changing conditions. But how do you coordinate?" Jin seemed genuinely puzzled. "We trust each other to react appropriately," Hana explained. "It's not perfect, but it's hard to predict." Jin shook his head. "Astrians would never fight this way. We value order and precision." "And that's why the Dominion beats you," Hana said gently. "They understand your patterns." 2 weeks later, the first joint training exercise almost ended, in disaster. The human and Astrian ships were supposed to follow a carefully planned battle simulation. Captain Su, however, saw an opportunity and broke formation, executing a risky maneuver that confused both the simulated enemy and the Astrian allies. Admiral Munn was furious. "This is unacceptable. Your ships must follow the plan." Admiral Sun remained calm. With respect, Admiral, that unpredictability is exactly what confused the Void Dominion in our first encounter. Chaos is not a strategy, Mun insisted. For humans, it is, Sun replied. Our history is full of smaller forces defeating larger ones by being unpredictable. That evening, Commander Hana found Tay studying Earth's military history in the database. Your people are fascinating, Tay said without looking up. You've fought so many wars against yourselves, yet you survive. You even thrive. Not something we're proud of, Hana admitted. But it may save us all, Tay replied. The Astrians have been at peace for so long before the Dominion came. We forgot how to think like warriors. Hana sat beside him. Why did they choose Earth? There must be other species in the galaxy. Tay was quiet for a moment. The Astrian Council searched for centuries. Most advanced species fight like we do, with order and patterns. But humans... He smiled slightly. Humans embrace chaos. A week later, the upgraded Earth fleet gathered for inspection. The ship still looked human in design, but now glowed with Astrian technology. The weapons were stronger, the shields more powerful. Admiral Sun addressed the combined forces. We face an enemy that has never known defeat. They think in perfect unity while we think as individuals. They see this as their strength and our weakness. He paused, looking at the human and Astrian crews standing together. We will prove them wrong. Humanity doesn't need to think as one to act as one. Our differences are unpredictability. These are not weaknesses. They are our greatest weapons. As the crews cheered, Commander Hana noticed Tay watching the humans, with a strange expression. What are you thinking? She asked. I'm thinking, Tay replied slowly, that we might actually win this war. 6 months after the alliance formed, Earth's retrofitted fleet prepared to join the main Astrian forces. Captain Sue stood on the bridge of her ship, the Dauntless, watching her crew work alongside Astrian technicians. The once simple Earth vessel now hummed with advanced alien technology. Engineer Jin approached her with a worried look. Captain, some of these systems haven't been properly tested in combat conditions. We don't have time for more tests, Sue replied. The Void Dominion isn't waiting. The emergency transmission had arrived 3 days earlier. The Dominion had launched a massive attack on the Astrian Central Worlds. What was supposed to be months of preparation had been cut short. Commander Hana called all ship captains to a final briefing in the lunar base. Admiral Mun's hologram looked grim as he detailed the situation. The Dominion has broken through our outer defenses, he explained. We need your fleet immediately. My ships aren't fully ready, Admiral Sun protested. None of us are ready, Mun replied, but we have no choice. As the meeting ended, Lieutenant Day pulled Hana aside. Something doesn't feel right. Why is the Admiral rushing us? Hana had the same concerns. That night, she visited the Astrian archives that Tay had brought to Earth. While most officers focused on Astrian battle tactics, Hana searched for historical records. What she found disturbed her. The war with the Void Dominion wasn't recent. The Astrians had been fighting and retreating for over 3 centuries. Planet after planet had been abandoned in a slow, steady withdrawal across the galaxy. You've been losing this war for hundreds of years, Hana confronted Tay later that night. Why didn't you tell us? Tay couldn't meet her eyes. Would you have joined us if you knew the truth? That's not your decision to make, Hana said angrily. Earth deserved to know what we were facing. We're facing extinction, Tay replied quietly. The Astrian Council has tried everything. Nothing works against the Dominion's hive mind. Then we found Earth. A terrible suspicion formed in Hana's mind. You deliberately revealed Earth's location to the Dominion, didn't you? Tay's silence was answer enough. We're your bait, Hana realized. Your last desperate gambit. The Council believes human unpredictability is the key, Tay admitted. We needed the Dominion to see it firsthand, to fear it. Hana's anger turned cold. Those ships that attacked during first contact, you led them here. Yes, Tay whispered. We needed to prove humans could fight them. The revelation shook Hana deeply. She wanted to alert Admiral Sun to cancel the deployment. But what choice did Earth have now? The Dominion knew about humans. They would come eventually. The next morning, Earth's fleet departed for the battle. 30 ships, carrying the best of humanity's fighters, jumped into hyperspace using Astrian technology. During the journey, tensions grew between human and Astrian officers. The aliens insisted on strict formation flying and precisely timed maneuvers. Human captains chafed under these restrictions. The Dominion anticipates our every move because we're too predictable, Captain Min argued during a strategy session. We need to be flexible. Flexibility leads to chaos, the Astrian commander replied. Our forces must move as one. Commander Hana watched these arguments with growing concern. The Astrians were so committed to their orderly approach that they couldn't see it was failing them. On the 5th day of travel, Hana called a private meeting of all human captains. No Astrian officers were invited. I've discovered something you all need to know, she began, and told them what she had learned from Tay. The room erupted in anger when she finished. They used us, Captain Min shouted. They put Earth at risk, without our knowledge. Yes, Hana agreed, but that doesn't change our situation. The Dominion is coming for Earth regardless. Our only choice is how we fight them. What are you suggesting? Admiral Sun asked quietly. When we reach the battle, the Astrians will expect us to follow their command structure, Hana explained. I don't think we should. You're talking about breaking the alliance, Sun warned. No, I'm talking about fighting like humans instead of Astrians, Hana replied. They brought us because we're different. Let's show them how different we can be. One by one, the human captains nodded in agreement. They would follow the Astrian fleet to battle, but once there, they would fight in their own way. As the fleet approached its destination, alert signals blared. They were arriving at the edge of the Astrian home system where the battle raged. Through the viewports, they could see flashes of light in the distance, weapons fire from thousands of ships, locked in combat. Prepare for battle, Commander Hana ordered, and may humanity's chaos be our salvation. The human fleet arrived at the edge of the Astrian home system to find chaos everywhere. Commander Hana watched from the bridge of her flagship as hundreds of Astrian vessels tried to maintain their perfect formations against the swarming Void Dominion ships. The orderly Astrian defense was falling apart. Their formations are breaking, Lieutenant Day reported. The Dominion is predicting their every move. Through the view screen, Hana could see the pattern. The Dominion ships moved like a single organism, adjusting instantly whenever the Astrians tried a new formation. It was like watching a chess master who knew their opponent's strategy 10 moves ahead. Admiral Mun's face appeared on the communication screen. Commander Park, bring your fleet into position behind our main defense line. Follow the coordinates we're sending now. Hana looked at the battle plan. The Astrians wanted to use Earth's ships as reinforcements for their failing strategy. It wouldn't work. Admiral Sun, Hana called to her superior. Request permission to execute Maneuver Typhoon. Admiral Sun hesitated only briefly. Permission granted. All human vessels prepare to break formation. What are you doing? Admiral Mun demanded. You must follow the battle plan. With respect, Admiral, your plan is failing, Hana replied. We're going to try something different. She cut the communication and turned to her tactical officer. Send the code to all human ships. We move in 5 minutes. That's against direct orders from the Astrian High Command. Lieutenant Day pointed. Out, though he was already preparing the signal. And following orders is getting the Astrians killed, Hana answered. Send the code. 5 minutes later, all 30 Earth ships suddenly broke away from the main Astrian fleet. Each human captain had memorized the basic outline of Maneuver Typhoon, but the details were left to individual judgment. No two ships followed exactly the same path. The Void Dominion ships hesitated. Their hive mind could easily predict the structured movements of the Astrians, but the humans weren't following any recognizable pattern. Some ships charged straight at the enemy. Others circled around to attack from unexpected angles. Still others seemed to retreat. only to suddenly change direction. Captain Sue's voice came through the comm system. They're confused. They can't predict where we'll go next. Hana nodded. Keep changing your tactics. Don't establish any pattern they can learn. The Dominion ships began to split their attention between the organized Astrian fleet and the chaotic human vessels. This division created gaps in their previously perfect defense. All ships target those gaps when they appear, Hana ordered. Hit and move, don't stay in one place. For the first time in the battle, the Dominion forces began to suffer significant losses. Their hive mind, so effective against predictable enemies, couldn't adapt quickly enough to 30 different human battle strategies happening simultaneously. In the middle of the fighting, Hana noticed an Astrian command carrier surrounded by Dominion attackers. The massive ship contained thousands of Astrian civilians and military leaders. If it fell, the entire Astrian defense might collapse. We need to help that carrier, Hana decided. But it's too deep in enemy territory for a direct approach. Captain Jun's voice came through the comm. My ship can reach them. We're the fastest in the fleet. It would be a one-way trip, Admiral Sun warned. Maybe, Jun replied, but worth trying. Before anyone could argue, Jun's ship accelerated toward the surrounded carrier. 2 other human vessels followed without being ordered. Together, the 3 ships tore through the Dominion forces, drawing their fire away from the Astrian carrier. Jun's voice crackled over the comm system. Get that carrier out of here, we'll keep them busy. The Astrian ship began to move away as the 3 human vessels engaged the Dominion attackers. On her screen, Hana watched Jun's ship take multiple direct hits. Jun's shields are down, Lieutenant. Day reported, his voice tight with emotion. One by one, the 3 human ships exploded in brilliant flashes of light. But they had succeeded. The Astrian carrier escaped. Admiral Moon's face appeared on the screen again. His expression was one of shock and confusion. They sacrificed themselves for us? Why would they do that? Hana couldn't answer. Her throat was too tight with grief. As the battle continued, the remaining human ships kept changing their tactics, never establishing patterns the Dominion could predict. The Astrian fleet, seeing the effectiveness of this approach, began to break their own formations and fight with more flexibility. By the time the fighting ended, the Void Dominion had been pushed back for the first time in decades. They had lost nearly a third of their attack force and retreated from the system. The victory had come at a heavy cost. 8 human ships had been destroyed, hundreds of crew members were dead, but they had achieved what the Astrians thought impossible. They had forced the Dominion to retreat. As the damaged fleets regrouped, Admiral Moon requested to come aboard Hana's ship. When he arrived on the bridge, he looked at the human officers with new respect. In 300 years of fighting, he said quietly, I have never seen anyone fight as your people did today. We just did what humans have always done. Hana replied. We adapted. The Dominion will return, Moon warned, and they will have studied your tactics. Hana nodded. Then we'll change our tactics again. That's the one thing humans have always been good at. Changing. The combined human and Astrian fleets gathered at the edge of Void Dominion space. The massive command ships hung in the darkness like steel islands, surrounded by hundreds of smaller vessels. 2 weeks had passed since their first victory, and now they prepared for the final push. On the bridge of her flagship, Commander Hana studied the holographic map showing the location of the Dominion's central command structure. This was the heart of the enemy, a massive space station where the hive mind controlled its forces. We should approach with caution, Admiral Moon advised. Set up defensive positions and test their perimeter responses before committing to an attack. Admiral Sun shook his head. Every day we wait gives them time to adapt to our tactics. We need to strike now while they're still recovering from their first defeat. The 2 admirals had been arguing about strategy for days. The Astrians wanted a careful, measured approach. The humans pushed for something bolder. Show them the plan, Admiral Sun said to Hana. She nodded and activated a different hologram. This is Engineer Hyun's creation. We call it the Freedom Virus. The display showed complex code sequences that even the Astrians struggled to understand. "What does it do?" Admiral Moon asked. "It doesn't just disable their network," Hana explained. "It offers individual void units the option to break free from the hive mind." Admiral Moon looked shocked. "You want to free them? They're our enemies." "They're slaves to their programming," Hana replied. "We believe many would choose independence if given the option." "That's absurd," another Astrian officer protested. "They're born into the hive mind. It's their natural state." Engineer Hyun stepped forward. His quiet voice commanded attention. "We've studied the captured Dominion technology. Their units are fully capable of individual thought. The hive mind suppresses it." The debate continued for hours. Finally, Admiral Sun proposed a compromise. The main fleet would engage the Dominion forces directly. A massive battle that would draw attention away from a small team that would infiltrate the command structure and deploy the virus. "Who would lead such a mission?" Admiral Moon asked. "It would be almost certainly fatal." "I will," Captain Min volunteered immediately. Hana wanted to object. Min was her friend. But she knew he was also the best choice for the mission. His quick thinking had saved countless lives in previous battles. The plan was set in motion the next day. The combined fleet jumped into the Dominion's home system in a dazzling display of power. Thousands of ships emerged from hyperspace simultaneously, immediately engaging the surprised Dominion forces. Meanwhile, Captain Min's small stealth ship slipped through the chaos of battle. 3 human officers and 2 Astrian specialists accompanied him. Their ship was tiny compared to the massive vessels fighting around them, which made it harder to detect. "Approaching the command structure," Min reported back to Hana. "Their defenses are focused on the main battle. We're proceeding to entry point." The small team docked at an emergency airlock, cutting their way inside. The interior of the Dominion command structure was unlike anything they had seen before. Organic technology melded with mechanical systems in ways that seemed impossible. "It's like the whole station is alive," one of the Astrian specialists whispered. They encountered surprisingly little resistance as they moved toward the central core. The Dominion had committed most of its forces to the main battle. When they finally reached the central chamber, they found what looked like a massive brain made of both organic and technological components. Pulsing energy flowed through countless connections leading to every part of the Dominion fleet. "This is it," Min said. "The heart of the hive mind." As Min worked to install the device, alarms suddenly blared. The chamber doors sealed shut and gas began pouring into the room. "They know we're here," one of the Astrians cried. Min didn't stop working. "Get your breathing gear on. We finish this no matter what." With trembling hands, he connected the final wire. The device lit up, showing the virus beginning its work. "Freedom virus deployed," Min reported through his comlink. "Now we just have to survive long enough for it to spread." Outside, in space, the battle raged on. Hana's ship took heavy damage as she tried to keep the Dominion forces occupied. Then suddenly, something strange happened. Enemy ships began to stop firing. Some drifted aimlessly. Others actually turned on their fellow Dominion vessels. "It's working," Lieutenant Day reported excitedly. "The virus is spreading through their network." Throughout the enemy fleet, confusion spread as individual void units experienced independent thought for the first time. Many continued fighting out of fear or habit, but others hesitated, questioning orders they had blindly followed their entire lives. Captain Min's voice came through the comm system, weak but triumphant. "Mission accomplished, Commander. The virus is fully deployed. Can you get back to your ship?" Hana asked urgently. There was a long pause. Negative, but it was worth it. 3 months later, Commander Hana stood in the Great Hall of the newly established Galactic Council. Representatives from all 3 species, human, Astrian, and the newly named liberated, former Void Dominion units who had chosen freedom, gathered to sign the first interstellar peace accord. The tall, dark figure of Ren, a former Dominion, commander and now leader of the liberated, approached Hana. "Your species continues to surprise us," he said in his deep voice. We never considered that freedom could be offered rather than forced upon us. Hana smiled sadly, thinking of Captain Min and all the others who had died to make this moment possible. In the end, our greatest weapon wasn't our unpredictability or our tactics. It was our belief that everyone deserves a choice, even our enemies. Admiral Moon joined them, looking older but more at peace than Hana had ever seen him. We sought your help to win a war. Instead, you showed us how to end one. As the three leaders moved to sign the historic agreement, Hana felt a sense of both loss and hope. Humanity had brought something unique to the stars, not just chaos and unpredictability, but also compassion and the belief in second chances.